welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to start with this colourful puzzle called Framed by D.V. Frank. And this, apparently, to start the week, is an approachable Sudoku, no less. So this one ought to be attemptable by everybody, and maybe slightly easier than some of the monsters I've been grappling with over the last few days. I'll read you the rules in just a second. A couple of things to mention. Firstly, if you are keen on watching me continue to battle my way through The Witness, this incredible game that my new computer can finally actually run, then I'm planning to do that tomorrow evening, 10 o'clock UK time, so about an hour and a half after the 8:30 video comes out. Yeah, so that'll be live streamed, and if you want a notification about that, either check our Twitter, which is @CrypticCracking, or make sure you've hit the bell icon when you subscribe to the channel. The bell icon, I think, alerts you to everything we do. Anything else to mention? Yes. Oh, well, Jess, thank you so much. We've already had quite a few questions in. We're trying to creep up towards 400,000 subscribers. I say that with a laugh because it seems so ridiculous, but if and when we get there, we're going to do a Q&A video where Mark and I answer your questions. So if you've got questions for us, send them in, crackingthecryptic@gmail.com. I've no doubt Maverick, who I can hear about to buzz past my window, has many questions, and I've got many questions for him as well. But anyway, so yeah, please subscribe. Let's get towards 400,000, and now I'll read you the rules of Framed, and we can see what's what. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits cannot repeat within a cage. Yeah, we've got no cage sums. Look, every cage contains digits that sum to the same total. So every single one of these cages, we're going to put digits in them. I don't know what digits we're going to put in. Let's imagine it was 3, 4, and 5. They would add to 12. And now we would know every single cage in this puzzle had to contain digits that add up to 12. So do have a go. Now, the colours I was asked to put in because apparently this is how D.V. Frank wanted the puzzle presented. But for solving, we're going to get rid of the colours because they are going to distract me no end. I'm very happy to input my own colouring during the solve, but starting off with a very coloured grid just disturbs me. So do have a go. The way to play, click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And okay, so the first thing I'm seeing here is that we do have some 2-cell cages, which means that the maximum size of any of these cages is going to be 17. If I put 8 and 9 into those squares, that's the highest I could put in. So we're looking for a maximum cage size of 17. Okay, here we go. And a minimum cage size, look, that's a 5-cell cage. So the minimum I could put into that cage would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is 15 if we add them up. So actually, we have already limited the cage total we're looking for to only 15, 16, or 17. Okay, column 9 looks interesting now. Maybe row 9 as well. Let's just check column 9. Why do I think column... am I going crazy? Well, it can't be 15, can it? Yeah, no, I'm not going crazy. I was having a momentarily brain lapse here, but 15 will not work. And the reason for that is, of course, the secret. And if you've only been watching the channel for a while, you may not know the secret, but I'm going to tell it to you now. I only tell my very favourite people this. But let's think about what this column of a Sudoku, what does it add up to? If we put all of the digits correctly in column 9, obviously in some order, we're going to put all of the digits from 1 to 9 in column 9. That's the rules of Sudoku. If you add up those digits, you get 45. So I know that those outlined blue squares there add up to 45. So what would happen if the cage total we were looking for was in fact 15? Well, that would be 15, that would be another 15, and that would be another 15. So these cages together would add up to 45. That would require this square here to be a 0, which is not allowed. So we're not looking for 15, we're looking for 16 or 17, and we're going to be able to isolate the value of this square, aren't we? Because if cages are adding to 16, then we know that those squares together would add up to 48, 3 lots of 16. but we know that column adds up to 45, so that square will be a 3. And if instead we're looking for 17, then we're going to have 51 into those squares. Minus 45 is 6, so this square is 3 or 6. Now, can we do something similar in row 9, is what I'm wondering. So if we had 16, 16, 48 there, that would require these two squares to be a 1 and a 2 to allow these squares to add up to 45, which is nonsense. Right, no, that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. Right, why is it nonsense? Well, that part of it was not nonsense, but remember, when this was adding up to, when we were looking at whether this added up to 16, we noted that if the cage total we're looking for is 16, this square is a 3. Now, let's do this maths again and see why this fails. So, 16 plus 16 there, that's 32, plus 3 is 35. So what do we have to put in this square to get to 45 for the row? 10. I can't put 10 in a single cell of a Sudoku. So actually we are looking at maximums here. When I say maximums, we're looking for 2 cells. Have got to be 8s and 9s then. So how many 2 cells have we got around the grid? Probably only those. Yeah, okay. But now we know this digit, don't we? Because we've got 51 from 3 lots of 17 into those 10 cells, so that's going to have to be 6 to allow this column to add up to 45. Now we'll get this digit, look, because we could just do maths again. So we've got 34 in those 7 cells, plus 6 is 40, that's going to be a 5. These two squares have got to add up to 6 to make the cage add up to 17, and they can't use 1, 5, so they are 2 and 4. Now, what should we do next? Is there an easy win? The answer is, I don't know. I'm not spotting it immediately. Maybe row 1. Let's just think about row 1. So what have we got there? We've got 17. We've got 34. Oh, yeah. No, row 1 is very useful, actually. We've got 17 plus 17 is 34, and then 4 cells left outside those cages. So these 4 cells have to sum up to 11, and there's only one way of doing that. 1, 2, 3, and 5. And that can't be 2, and that can't be 5. So this is 1 or 3. So if this is 1, that's 2, 3, 5, and this is 7 to make the cage add up to 17, and if this is 3, this is 1, 2, 5. Oh, that won't work because that's got to be 9. Ah, beautiful. So this is not 3 because then these squares have to add up. Well, they'll add up to 8, and we'll have to put 9 here where it can't go. So that square's got to be 1. These squares have got to be 2, 3, and 5, adding to 10, giving us a 7 here. And so far it's going okay, isn't it? Ah, now look, we've got 1 in a cage that adds up to 17. So those two have to add up to 16, and they have to be 7 and 9. That's the only way you'll get to 16 in 2 digits if you can't repeat the 8. So we get that done. That gives us a 7 here. These two squares have got to add up to 10, and they are going to have to be 4 and 6 because everything else has been removed from the row. And there's a 6 at the bottom, so we carry on. 6s go here, 4s go here. 4 is in that. Oh, 4 is in a 5-cell cage. Yes, that's important. Because how do we make 5 cells? Bear in mind that's 5 different digits add up to 17. There are 2 ways. 1, 2, 3 are always going to be included, and then either 4 and 7 or 5 and 6 to give us the extra 11 we need. Well, now we know there's a 4 in this cage, so this cage is going to have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. And we know those are not 4 because the 4 must be in one of those squares. That's not 2. Don't know. Maybe we can do other things there. What are those squares? They are 3, 6, and 8, which is... Oh no, okay, that rules 3 out of those squares, which might be handy. or not. No. Okay, so where should we look next? It does occur to me that we could, at some point in this puzzle, use Fistamafel. There's been a lot of set theory on the puzzle recently. If you've not come across Fistamafel, it tells you that those purple squares there are the exact same digits, and this applies in any Sudoku as those squares, which is really remarkable. But I'm not going to use that unless I feel the need. What about... Oh, good grief. Right, yeah, column 1 is where we should look. We've got 17 plus 17 is 34, plus another 7, that's 41. So those two squares have to add up to 4, which means they're a 1-3 pair, and that can't be a 1. So that's a 3, and that's a 1, and that's a 7 and a 9, therefore, because we've already looked at the 179 version of a 3-cell cage in this puzzle. They're not 3s anymore. Those squares have got to be 2, 4, 5, and 6. Don't see how to do that immediately. And these squares at the bottom have got to be 3, 2, 3, 4, and 8. So that's not 2 or 4. So this is 3 or 8. It's a clever puzzle, actually, isn't it? Because even after the breakthrough, it's not collapsed at all. 7's got to be in one of those squares, look. 9 has got to be in one of those squares in box 6. Oh, that's nice. Right, okay. So where does 9 go in this column? That's the sensible question to ask. Once we got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 7... quintuple, we could have asked where 9 went in this column immediately. It can only go in this square. 9 is in this box, therefore. Right, that's nice. Okay, so 9 is in this domino. So can we put 7 here? No, because this will be 7, 9, and this will be a 1 to make 17, and it can't be a 1. So we get the 7. That's got to go there, which means that's not a 7. Oh, whoopsie. That means that's not a 7. Means one of these two squares is a 7. Do we know which one? Perhaps, but I don't see immediately how to do that. No, sorry, I'm not spotting immediately how to resolve this. So, where shall we look next? 5 in this box has to be in these 3 squares because it's definitely not there and it's definitely not here. Therefore, there's a 5 in one of these squares. And in this box... Oh, I've just noticed something interesting, actually. I was about to say in this box... I will still say it. In this box, we've got 2, 3, 5, and 8. And I was looking at this quadruple to try and rule things out of this. You can see the 5 is in this domino here, so it's not there. But if we scan down this column now, look at where 2 has to go in this box, in this cage here. This cage at the bottom, this square cannot be a 2 because of this 2 domino. So there is a 2 in one of those 3 squares, which means that this square is not a 2. And now we can look at 2 in one of those 3 squares, and therefore that square can't be a 2. So there's a 2 in this domino. Now keep going on column 7, I think, because I've now seen I've got 3, 5, 8 in those 3 squares. I'll highlight them just to make it clearer. Those 3 squares have only got the options of being 3, 5, and 8, so we can remove any other 3, 5, and 8 pencil marks from the rest of the column. This square can't be a 3. So 3 in that this 5-cell cage is here. 3 in that box is in one of those 2 cells. Oh, that's good. Right, this is gorgeous. Right, now I'm going to look at this 3-cell cage, which has a 9 in it. So the other 2 digits in this cage are adding up to 8. Well, they're not 3, 5, and they're not 1, 7, because this square would then have no fill. So this cage is exactly 2, 6, and 9, with this not being the 9. that resolves the 4, 2 at the end of the column. So now 2, 4 and 6 can come out of this square, which makes this square a 5. And we still need to place 1s, 7s and 8s into those 3 positions. That can't be a 7. So there's definitely a 7 in this domino, which we already knew actually. 7, 8. This is 1, 3, 7 or 8. So that's 1, 3 or 8, isn't it, because of the 7? No, it's still 3. Where does 3 go in this box? It's got to go in the bottom of the triple, so 3 up here gets removed. We've now got a 5, 8 pair. We can remove 8 from that one. We've got a 2, 3 pair. Remove 3 from this one. And remove 3 from all of these squares. Remove 2 from those squares. Place the 2 here. And it's all sort of running around these various rings, these frames, in fact, that we've got going around the grid. So I did a puzzle just the other day by A Frayed Knot, which was about frames. They weren't quite frames like this, but it seems frames are very much the flavour of the month or week. And both puzzles have been absolutely gorgeous. So this is a 1, 5 pair now, just to complete box 8, which means we can place an 8 here. We've got a 1, 7 pair, so we place an 8 here. This square's not a 2. These are 4s, 3s, 4s and 6s. And let's tidy up some pencil marks and take a stare at this grid. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll do simple stuff first. Look, we've got a 5-cell cage here. Well, a 5-cell cage we know is 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 or 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. It's always got a 2 in it. That 2 is going to have to live in this square. Bobbins. I can finish the 2 and the 5 at the top though. That might be, yeah, okay, that's helpful. So I now know this is one, it's not got a 5 in it. So it must be 1, 3, 4 and 7 to complete the 5-cell cage, which means this square's a 6, that's a 4, that's a 3, that's a 7, that's a 9. We still need to put 8 in the column, which we can now do. We get the 8 and the 5 over there, the 9 and the 8 here, just by Sudoku. Now, what can we do next? We can get rid of 7 from this square. 2 and the 3 are resolved over here. Look, so this is down to 1 or 4 only. And these squares have got to be 1, 4 or 6, which I say with a little bit of surprise because I can't see how to resolve it. I can remove 4 from those squares because of the 4 in the column. We've got a 2, 6 pair there, which is not resolved. We can get rid of 7 here. Oh, I'll tell you what I've not looked at, and that's the central. This is a bit remiss of me. What have we got here? We've got 17, 34, 41. These have got to be add up to 4. There are 3 and a 1, and I've got a 3 there. So that's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 5. Oh, that would have been a lot more efficient if I'd done it that way round. Never mind. This square can't be a 2, look. And what else? There's got to be a 3 in exactly that square by Sudoku, which implies this square is a 4 or a 6. I can get rid of 8 from this. I want to somehow work out, or at least get a digit in one of these cages. I think that would be helpful. Can we do that simply? Yeah, actually we can. Look, we can ask about 9s. We've got 9 in this domino and a 9 in this domino. So where's the 9 going in column 6? It's going to have to go in these squares. And that's lovely, because now the other 2 squares have got to add up to 8 to give us our 17, and they're not 1, 7 and they're not 3, 5. So this cage is the same as one of those other cages I found. It's that one. Yeah, this one and this one have the same composition. Now that's immediately interesting as well, because look, we've now got 2s and 6s aligning in this domino and this triple. So we ask where 2s and 6s go in row 4 now, knowing that they have to go in those squares. well, given that the 6 in this box is definitely in this column, it's going to have to go there. So that might be handy. So we know one of these 2 squares is a 2, and we know the 2 is in one of those 3 squares, so that's the 2. And that means what? Don't know. Those squares have got to be 4, 5, and 8. Well, so we can place the 8. So let's. Oh goodness me, sorry. That's the 8. This is a 4, 5 pair. This is an 8. This is a 3. Therefore, yeah, okay. I seem to have to put a 3 in this cage. It can only go there, I think. We get another. We get a 1, 4 pair, and we can place the 7. So that's not 7. I've got a 2, 6, 9 triple in row 6, which has suddenly appeared. I'll highlight that one as well. Why not? So the other cells that we need to place are going to be 1s, 4s, and 5s. So this is just left with being 1 or 5. This is, oh dear, 1, 4, or 5. Okay. Where does 5 go in that column? Oh, this 8 is what's resolving everything. Yeah, that's a sensible thing to ask. 4, 4, 5. 8, 9, 9, 6. This is all good, isn't it? Now we can get rid of the 4 from those squares. Can we get the 8? Yep, the 8's going in here. This is going to be a 2. This 9 is helpful. That gets rid of the 6 as an option. That gets rid of the 6 and the 2 here. The 2 and the 9 go in. And this is just a very pleasant puzzle that's been very nicely designed to be approachable while retaining the characteristic of cleverness. It's great setting. Now, how do we finish this off? Oh, I see. I've got a cage here that's basically done, isn't it? I've got 13 in it. I need another 4. So that's a 4, that's a 6, that's a 4, 1, 4, that's a 6. That's going to have to be a 1 or a 5. Placing a 4 over there. 5, well, maybe let's do these, I think. 1, 5, and 9. So that's a 9. This is a 1 or a 5. 7 can't go there just because of the central cell. Finish off those. Place that. Place this. Place that. Now, if I haven't made an error, we should be looking at 7 and 9 into those squares. It does actually look correct, doesn't it? So there we go. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. So I hope you got on well with that one. A nice, approachable puzzle to start the week, as promised for once. And yeah, we'll see you later on for another. No, actually, I'm just going to take a moment. Let me just refresh our memories as to how this worked. It's just a series of very sort of cute deductions, isn't it? If you know the secret, well, you can start off with basic stuff around 2-cell cages and 5-cell cages. But then really, I think it's the interaction of column 9 and row 9 that give us what we need. Column 9 was very helpful because it restricted, well, firstly you can immediately eliminate 15 as a possibility, then it restricted this digit, but actually the fact that this would have had to be a 3 if we tried 16 as the cage total forced a 10 here, so this does a lot of work, this sort of reverse L bend in the grid. And then after that, it's just a clever placement of the cages from D.V. Frank that allows the sort of the logic of the solve to flow nicely. There's still a lot that you can just deduce from the perimeter, and then the 5-cell cages come into their own. I probably could have used the middle box a lot earlier. I just didn't. So forgive me for that. And as I say, we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.